Hey guys, it's Scott here. I'm going to guide you through today's mobility and more class. So we're going to jump back into frame and get started here, loosening up and getting through our session for today. So I hope you guys are ready to move. We are going to step right back here and start right in with our warm-up. We've got a nice full body session going today, so we're going to start at our top with our shoulders and neck and work our way down our body, and we'll finish up on our feet eventually, burning out our legs here. So we're just going to start. We got 5 hip circles or over the fence in each direction. We're going to count that as 1. So there and back is 1. We're going to go right into 2, 3, 4, up and over, and 5. Last one. So make sure we're really driving that out to the side and bringing our foot back to center. We're switching to the other leg. We got 5 to do on the other side. So we're stepping out and over and bring it back for 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one. We may have repeated one. We're going straight into it for extra rep there. Okay, we're going to do 5 arm circles each direction. So we're just going to get a nice big full arc, 3, 4, and 5 where we switch directions. We're going to do plenty of movement today, so we're just getting a very light warm up here going first. And we'll keep moving these joints as we go. There's 5 of our circles on that arm, 5 going the other way, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are going to go into our neck twists here. We're going to do 10 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just looking side to side over our shoulders. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we're starting to get our neck warmed up there. For the next one here, we're just doing ear to shoulder, side to side. We're going to get to 10 as well. So we did 1, 2, 3. Try to keep our shoulders down as best we can. 4, 5, 6. So a lot of tightness in the traps probably here. 7, 8, 9, and 10 on the last one there. So like I said, a lot of tightness in the traps in the shoulders there. We're trying to force those shoulders away from our ears. So if that felt pretty tight for you, maybe you can pause it and take another round of those neck twists and the side to side flexion, ear to our shoulder. Make sure we're getting that neck really loose there. So we're going to go ahead and start with our timer for our timed rounds here. We're going to work through some of our more full body movements. We just did a very basic light warm up for the hips and the shoulders and the neck because we're going to keep on going, continuing down the line with our warm ups here. So our next one here, we're going to repeat a few different movements. We've got shallow lunge where we're going to step back and arms are going to go overhead. So not a full reverse lunge, just a step back enough to get that little bit of a knee bend on the front leg, and then we're going to extend arms up overhead to get our mid back. And then we'll do a shallow squat with a reach over, stretching out the size of our body and getting our legs involved. And then we're going to take a wide base with a sumo style. So we're going to do each one of those twice. We got 3 total. So we're going to start our timer. We got 45 seconds, little 15-second transition to get to the next one. So we're starting with that shallow reverse lunge, arms up overhead. And we're going to go in 2, 1, and go. Clock is ticking, so we step back, shallow reverse lunge, or really just a step back. It doesn't have to be a lunge at all, right? Just enough to get a little bit of a bend at our front knee. We're feeling a stretch across our hip flexor a little bit there. And of course, as our arms go up overhead, we feel some maybe tightness or pressure in our mid back and spine. Starting to stretch that T-spine a little bit. So try and drive your arms up overhead farther every time. Keep that chest nice and tall. Get a good extension in our mid back and spine there. We got 10 seconds to go. We're going to move on to that shallow squat with a reach over. All right, so a few seconds here to transition. We're going into a shallow squat with a reach over to stretch out our lats and our hips a little more. So my feet are a little bit outside of my hip width for this squat with the reach over. And we're just taking, like I said, just a shallow squat, light body weight. Don't have to go all the way down. Just getting the legs and hips warmed up. And as we come to the top, we lean and reach and get a big stretch across the top of our body, opening up all the way from armpit all the way down to our hips. So we should be really stretching that. Really lean, reach out over the top. We can feel those muscles all even in between our ribs stretching out maybe here as well. So keep going, 15 seconds again. We're just doing light squats here, shallow squat. We're not going all the way down. We're just getting warmed up a little bit for our lower body. So we got bridges and all that coming next down the line. So we're just getting a little bit of basic movement in those hips, making sure we're really allowing our knees to go outward during that basic squatting motion. So we're gonna take our little bit wider base now here, and we're gonna do a sumo, kind of a sumo style lateral lunge shift. So we're just bending the knee. We're not going to go all the way into a full lateral lunge, but we want to reach down toward the toe now. So side to side, reaching toward the toe. Letting that lead leg knee is going to bend a little bit. The other leg should be staying straight, so we have a nice stretch on the inside of the thighs. We're doing our best to reach all the way to that toe. We're getting a little bit of twisting in our shoulders and core as well here. So full body motion, hips are working, but our upper body's working a little bit as well. We got 5 seconds. Let's get to each toe one more time. Good. We're going to bring our base back to the top. We're going to do our shallow lunge with the arms overhead again. So feel free to take it a little farther this time if you're feeling comfortable. Step into a deeper lunge behind you. Arms are going to drive up. Do your best to really drive those arms up. So again, take that shallow step back, turn it into a full reverse lunge if you'd like. Just focus on whatever you can accomplish. Hopefully you can feel that range of motion extension getting a little bit better, right? We're feeling ourselves loosen up again. We may feel a nice pull on the leg that goes back as well, right? Because as we crank our arms up, we're extending those hips, so we're feeling a nice stretch on our quads as well. So keep stepping back, get a soft bend in that front leg, and we're really driving those arms up and back so we feel our shoulders in between our shoulder blades working really hard. 5 seconds, let's do one more on each leg. There's our timer, nice job. Back to our shallow squat with the reach over. Feel free to take the squat a little deeper this time if you're comfortable. We're still going for shallow, just warming up the legs a little bit, right? So don't feel the need to squat all the way down. The deeper we go, we'll feel it a little more in the hips. So if you're feeling comfortable squatting down a little farther, go ahead and do that. Take that as deep or as shallow as you'd like. We're really focused on the big reach and stretch. So we should be really driving that hand up and over the top, stretching out our rib cage, opening up that armpit and the ribs on the side. Five seconds to go. One more big reach, squat down, driving those knees out just a little bit, and a big reach over the top. Good. We're going back to our sumo reach one more time here. So we're going to take that wide base with our feet, right? And we're reaching. As we bend, just bend the knee to the side we're going, and we're twisting and reaching toward that opposite toe. So opposite toe, so if I'm going to my left toe, I'm reaching with my right hand. A little twist in the hips and spine. Lead leg is bending a little bit. "20 seconds to go. We're getting as close as we can to that toe. Starting to feel like our legs are getting really loose now. We have that nice pull on the inside of our thigh as we step to the opposite side. A little bit of rotation everywhere along the spine, hips and back and shoulders. One more on each toe. Let's get there here. And other side. There we go. Good. So we're at the end of that first small block. So we're starting to feel loose all over, right? We got our back and chest and shoulders opened up with our lunge and some different squat variations to help finish up with our hips. We are going to go ahead and get down on our mat now for our next block. We've got a couple different pairs that we're going to work through today, and we are starting today. We're going to do bridging and our bent knee kicks. So that's going to get our hamstrings and our glutes a little bit. So we're going to use the same timer, 45 seconds. We'll bounce back and forth between the two a few times. We're starting just flat on our back, just like in a classic bridge position. We're right here, and we're just going to alternate, kicking one leg out at a time. So we're really going to feel that pull on the hamstrings. So if we're feeling like we have a lot to offer in the hamstrings, you can kick and then go for a little bit of a leg extension to stretch those out. If you're like me, you're going to feel a nice pull on the hamstrings just by kicking the legs out. Try and get that leg to full extension. And we're going to go from there, and we just go right into bridges, lifting up and squeezing glutes. If you'd like to add some weight or a band on the knees for the bridges, you can do so. We're starting with those bent knee kicks in 3, 2, 1, and start. So we are clocked in on the timer here, just alternating, kicking these legs out, full extension as best we can. We're feeling a good pull, and as we can loosen those hamstrings up, we can drive that straight leg and lift it up and feel those hamstrings loosening up a little bit, but we're going to stick with the kicks only, at least for the first round, because our hamstrings are tight. If they're like mine, we're feeling a pull already, so maybe we can work in those extensions. And if we're already getting nothing out of the kicks, let's get a straight leg and we can lift it and really feel that hamstring stretch. We're going to just kick, and we want to kick and just hold it for a second there. There's our break. And we're going to go right to bridges, so we can open up our foot position just a little bit. We're going to focus on our tucked in core and a big glute squeeze. So if you have a weight or a band and you'd like to put it on, you can do so. We're just sticking with body weight bridges for now. So we're focused on body weight, which means we're getting a big squeeze at the top and relaxing back down. Focus more on the squeeze at the top than anything else, right? We want to get a big squeeze, hold that bridge position. If you'd like to add weight, you can do so. We're just exploring the motion of our hips really, so don't need too much weight. If you'd like a tiny bit of resistance, that's okay. We just want to focus on getting a good contraction in all of these muscles. Mobility work, typically we don't want too much resistance. We're just exploring that flexibility and the range of motion that we have. So got a couple more glute bridges here, big squeeze in the glutes. Let's get one more and hold. At the top, nice job. So we're going to go right back into this position. We've got our bent knee kicks, and again, if we're feeling pretty flexible in the hamstrings, we can kick out more shallow and extend the leg up all the way to get that stretch in the hamstrings. But for now, we're just going to do the kick and lock that full extension in as best we can. Feeling the hamstrings really stretch at the top of that kick. And again, if we're feeling loose hamstrings, go ahead and extend that leg once you kick it out. Extend it up high as you can and switch back to the other leg. We're starting to get a little loose, so we can feel like we're kind of getting some extension capability there. If we're still feeling really tight in the hamstrings, just focus on that kick. Try and extend it, lock out that at the top. Good job. Back to our bridges once here. One more time here for the bridge, and then we'll repeat the whole lap one more time through, focusing on really getting these legs loose and working hard. So we're focusing on the big glute squeeze next. Good, there's our glute squeeze coming up. So we don't have any weight, right? So we're really focusing on that top end squeeze of the glutes there. We come into hip extension. If we have a little bit of weight, that's okay, but we want to focus on just exploring the glute contraction, range of motion, feel what our hips and knees are doing here during this bridging motion. So our mobility and more should be a little bit of training where we want to be able to do a little bit of light movement recovery type stuff, right? So we're doing a lot of hard lifting in our strictly strength classes and any other workouts we might be doing. So we're using this time as just a little bit of recovery. Big glute squeeze. We're getting near the end of the timer. Great job. There it is. We've got one more of this pair. We're going to do our hamstring kicks again. Really focus on locking that knee out. And of course, we have that option to lift the leg if we're feeling already like our hamstrings are very loose. Here we go. Bent knee kicks, driving that toe up, locking our knee into full extension as best we can. And we're bringing that foot up higher and higher every time as our hamstrings allow us, as we feel that range of motion increasing to get that leg up. We are still kicking. It's our last 20 seconds with the hamstrings here, kicking these. So keep on driving that foot up, lock that knee out as best you can. Feel the hamstrings stretching. Try and kick it, hold it there for a second to really get a good contraction in the quad and get a good stretch in the hamstring. One more kick. There it is. Nicely done. We are going to get one more bridge round in, and then we've got our next combo coming up, which is a tall plank pairing. So we're flat on our back our last time here. One more round of glute bridge. And we are here. Knees are wide, and we are squeezing a big glute squeeze to drive that knee up. We're holding the top of that bridge for a second or two, making sure we're really squeezing the glutes, driving those knees out, making sure everything is doing what they're supposed to be doing at the hip region there. We've got about 15 seconds. Time for a few more big, long squeezes in the glutes. Let's get one more here as time expires. Nice big squeeze, good, and relax. Okay. Great job there. We are moving on to our next pair, straight down the line, which is going to be a tall plank for all rounds. We got 6 rounds of tall plank, so it's going to be a lot. Make sure you take a break if you need to. But we're going to be alternating between tall plank with a shoulder tap and then tall plank with a march. So we'll be sure to drop into tabletop position after each one to just let our shoulders recover, let our core recover a little bit. But we're going to jump right into our tall plank. Shoulder taps and marching. We're going to take a quick drink here if you need to. Go ahead and grab your drink if you got one with you today. And we are ready to go for tall planks. And we are starting with our shoulder taps. If we can't do that, we're just going to do our best to just work through tall planks through each round. Work on that core strength. Keep everything squeezed and solid. And we're ready to go in 2, 1, and clock is ticking. So we are in tall plank, just like so. If we're comfortable just holding this position, do that. And if you can, we're going for the shoulder taps. Slow and steady with our taps here. We want to make sure our body's not moving at all, right? So we got to keep everything locked in place. Core, quads, and glutes are squeezed to make sure our body stays rigid. And we're slowly going through taps here. Tapping the opposite shoulder. Hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders should all be stacked in a nice straight line here. So if we're leaning back, we might need to stack those a little bit better. And do your best just to hold this tall plank position. We got 5 seconds to go. We'll take a quick drop, and then we'll move to our march. Good, so let's go ahead and drop into tabletop. Let your shoulders and core recover a little bit here. We're going back into tall plank. We're gonna march next, so think of this as a slow mountain climber. We want to have one toe on the ground at least at all times, right? So we're back into tall plank, and we are marching our knee up. And if you want to go across to your opposite elbow for a little challenge, you can do that. We're just going to focus on marching, getting our hip flexors involved here, and keeping that balance. When we get onto 3 points, we want to keep our body nice and rigid. So come across to the opposite side, get a little core twist in there for some extra recruitment. We can save that for the 3rd round too if we're feeling not quite that brave yet. But we're just going to stick with the march, straight down the middle, nice and slow, keeping our toes engaged. And we're going to finish out in tall plank, just holding on if we need to. Good, and another break. So let's go ahead and drop off the shoulders. Let our shoulders recover a little bit. We're going back into our taps from tall plank next. So do your best for the taps. Hold that tall plank as best you can. Otherwise, we are ready to go once, and again, we are back onto the tall plank, top side, shoulder taps here, slow and steady, slow as we can go to keep our body rigid without moving. And of course, we can recover into tall plank, come down onto our knees to hold tall plank for recovery, especially as our shoulders start to fatigue. Take any of those mods, rejoin if you can at the top here. 15 seconds to go. Three seconds. Good, and let's drop back down into tabletop, or just come up onto our kneeling position here. Shake out your hands. We're gonna go back to tall plank with the march on the bottom. Modify the tall plank and just hold on to that if we need to get through the round. We are back into tall plank and we've got our march on the bottom now. So slowly marching one knee at a time, making sure our core has to do a lot of work. And of course our upper body is fatiguing, so if you need to take a break or scratch your face, drop down, come right back up when you can. We had a little tickle on our nose there. Take a break, come right back to it. It's a great reminder that even if you stop quickly for any reason, doesn't mean you have to quit on the timer, so just come back when you can. We got 8 seconds to go. Chest and shoulders are getting tired. We're gonna shake it off. We got one more of those pairs. Shoulders are working really hard here. We're gonna keep them going. We got 90 seconds total left in tall plank. Back to our shoulder taps one more time, or just hold that tall plank if you got it. Tall plank back here in position. Hold on to that tall plank if you have to. Remember to drop to your knees, recover, just enough for recovery. Come right back up into this tall plank if you can. We got 15 seconds to go. We got one more block after this. Keep working. 5 seconds. Hold on to that tall plank if you have to. Good. Drop down to your knees or tabletop one more time. We've got one more tall plank. Lower body marching with the knees. In 3, 2, 1, and ready to go here. If we're really fatiguing, we can also take this into an incline. It's our last round. Go for that cross knee if you want to get a little more core recruitment here if we haven't had enough yet. Otherwise, we're going knee straight down the middle. Do your best. 25 seconds left. Hold on, don't quit. Remember, we can just hold that tall plank, drop to knees, any mod if you want to. This will take some pressure off our chest. Bring it right back up. 12 seconds, we're still marching the knees. 5 seconds. Good job. Go ahead and relax. We're gonna lay in a side lying position next, so go ahead and give those shoulders a little break there. We'll be in this position next, our side lying position. We're doing side plank lift. So we've got our elbow and our shoulder stacked, as you can see here. My knees and my feet are together. So when I drive my knee into the bottom of the mat, it's gonna lift me up, and then I squeeze my glutes to bring my hips forward. So we're kind of in that clamshell position. We're gonna do 5 lifts, and then we hold we hold side plank for the rest of that timer. We've got 3 of those on each side. So again, we drive the knee into the mat, squeeze your glutes. That's gonna bring us up and forward into that kind of side plank position. So we're ready to go, starting that in 3, 2, 1, and go. So knee into the mat, glutes are squeezed to bring us forward, and then we sit back onto our booty, back onto our hip. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So from here, kick that top leg out, and we're gonna hold our side plank. Try to get this hand up in the air. Don't weigh yourself down. You don't want to push down on your hip. Give yourself some extra resistance. We're keeping that bottom glute squeeze because we got to stay in the nice straight line. 10 seconds to go. We're just going to flip sides on this one. So we did our on my right side now. We're going to just flip to the left side. 3, 2, 1, and drop. So we sit right back down. Flip on over to the other side. Make sure that elbow is stacked under your shoulder. Feet and knees are together. We start in the bent position. So we're flexed at the hip and the knee. We're stacked under the armpit. Knee into the mat. Glutes squeeze to come forward. Glutes are being squeezed just like a bridge, right? It brings our hips into extension just like we're lifting up off the mat. We gotta get 5, 3, 2 more, and we'll kick that top leg out. 4, and last one is 5, and then we'll kick, and we're holding on to side plank here. Just like so. Keep that bottom glute squeezed. Like I said, we're squeezed down here to keep this rigid side plank position. Arm is up in the air to hold yourself up. To stop from weighing your hip down on the top side. We got 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Great job. So that's 1 round. We got to do 3 total on each side. So we're going back to our other side. Elbow and shoulder are stacked. Feet and knees are together, bent at the hip and the knee. And we're going up. Knee into the mat, glutes squeeze to come forward. Sit back on your hip. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're holding on now. Kick that top foot out. A little bit easier for our side plank position right here today. We're holding on. We got 15 seconds left on this arm for round 2. We'll go to round 2 on our opposite side here. 10 seconds, keep holding on. Reset the plank if you need to, but we are working hard on our core here. 5 seconds, don't give up. Bottom leg glute is squeezed. 2, 1, and relax. Nice job. We're gonna flip back over to the other side. So there's our next timer. Up in that same position, elbow and shoulder are stacked, squeezing our bottom glute, driving our knee into the mat. There's 4, and number 5 coming up. Kicking our top leg out. We're keeping that glute squeezed on the bottom side. Arm is up in the air to keep from weighing ourselves down. We're holding on here. We got 15 seconds. Almost done with round 2. We got 1 more set of this here. Five, 4, 3, 2, almost there. Good. We are going to go for 1 more on each side. Flip it back over. Make sure we get that elbow and shoulder stacked, of course. Hips and knees are bent. Feet and knees are together. Ready to go. 1 more time on each side. Lift it up. Big squeeze from the glutes to lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are kicking that leg out to hold. We are locking in. Reset the plank if you need to. Got 20 seconds to go. Hopefully we can hold on. Upper body is fatiguing. We hit these shoulders. 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, and relax. 1 more time, back to the other side. We are working hard. 10-second transition. All the same cues. Feet and knees are together. Hips and knees are bent. Get that nice stacked position for your elbow and shoulder. Feel underneath for that lat. We're squeezing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5 coming up. Holding on. We got 30 seconds to go. Kick that top leg out. We're holding on. Doing our best here. Less than 20 seconds to go. Drop down and reset if we need to. Sit back on that hip one more time. You got 12 seconds to go. Bottom leg is squeezed, that glute to keep us nice and rigid here. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop down. Nice job. We are done with the tough tall plank and side plank core block right there. Let's grab a quick drink. We're going to move on to our last block here towards the end of our workout for today. So grab a drink, quick recovery period here, and we're going to take it away. Still using our timer, we are going to go back into our bridge position. We get our timer situated here again. So we have our bridge. I have one very small weight with me. Any weight will be fine. This is just an 8-pound dumbbell. It doesn't matter if it's a dumbbell or not. We just want a little something to hold on to for our bridge position. We are going to do bridge, and we're using our lats to extend down. So a little bit different from our classic lat pullover. We're not going to pull all the way to our waist. We're going to stop at about eye position right here, right above your eyes. And we're only going to do the top half extending back above our head, just to get a good stretch on our lats. So we're going to hold the bridge position as best you can the whole time, and we'll go for that lat extension portion behind you. We're going to do the same thing. We got 3 rounds of this. We're going to pair it, just 3 rounds. Bridge is paired with the lats. Ready to go in 2, 1, and clock is ticking. So we are in a bridged up position, and we're just going to keep the weight right at eye level, or eye line of sight, and extending back to the floor, keeping that bridge squeeze, and then coming right back to our face. So we are not pulling all the way over. We are focused on extension overhead with the arms, feeling a stretch. And of course, if you have no weight, that's totally fine. You don't need one. A very small weight is just helping pull a little bit extra stretch. So grab anything if you have it. 2 to 3 pounds is perfect. 5 pounds is great as well. 8 pounds is about as high as you'd want to go. We don't need too much resistance here. So we're squeezing glutes. Good. So we're going to just drop, recover. We're going to do that same thing here again. So 2 more rounds of that coming your way. We got to recover. Keep that glute squeeze for the bridge, and our core is going to stay tight as well. So we're back up in bridge, and we're just using the dumbbell at eye level, basically extending. Tap the weight and pull back to your face area, eye level, whatever you'd like to call that. Keep squeezing the glutes, keep the core active, nice and slow on that lowering portion of the lats. We got 15 seconds to go. Good. Go ahead and set the bridge down one more time. Bring your arms back to relax. We're going to repeat that once more. Slow and controlled as we let those lats stretch. We're back up in our bridge position, pulling the weight to our eyes. Slow 2 or 3 seconds as we stretch the lats, stretch that mid-back region, and we pull it right back to straight vertical, right above our eyes. Keep the glutes squeezed nice and tight. Feeling a stretch on the lats, or we should be anyway, back behind your arms as well, a little bit there, armpits. Deep stretch, holding the bridge as best you can. Slow 2 or 3 seconds to the ground. Tap it right back to your face. Great job. That was our 3 rounds of the lat there. Feeling like we got a lot stretched out behind our armpit, underneath our shoulder blade right there. Those big lat muscles will stretch as we lower that back there. So we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to keep a small weight of any kind, something at all that you have that you can hold on to. Even your water bottle will be perfect for this. We don't want a ton of resistance. We're just working on strengthening the rotator cuff, so we want to be stable. We're not really building resistance here, so keep it light as you can. Even just using your arm is going to be fine if you have absolutely nothing to hold on to, right? This is what we're doing. We're in our half kneeling position. We're going to come up and out and then down and resetting it. So kind of like a T-raise that we would do in a class. We're just doing one side at a time. So we're going to do 2 on each arm. So we're going to start right there. Again, we want to shoulder squeeze. Squeeze the shoulder blade really tight. We're not going to be moving very much. So what we're going to do there is just move through the range of motion with a light, tiny weight or no weight at all. And we're just going to do that slowly. 3, 2, 1, and clock is ticking. So put a hand on your belly to keep your core active here. And we're just lifting out to the side and over to the front, just like so. Open it up. Focus all your energy on the shoulder blade, making sure it stays squeezed and engaged. We're just going through this very light range of motion on the shoulders. Like I said, if you have no weight, that's totally fine. We don't even need a weight here. We just want to focus on the squeeze in the shoulder blade. Even something as light as your water bottle is going to be good. I want you to think all your brain power on your shoulder blade right now and feel what it's doing. Good, so we're switching position to the other side. Same idea, if you got nothing, just use your arm. If you have anything light, 2-pound dumbbell, 3-pound dumbbell, anything you can hold on to, will be perfect. Hand on our tummy for some core activation, feeling our core working hard. All of my brain power is in my shoulder blade, thinking about keeping it as stable as possible as we just move through this range of motion at the shoulder. Again, we don't even need the weight, right? So just focus on keeping the shoulder blade squeezed. Everything as tight as possible. Just move the arm through that range of motion. We're focusing on getting the rotator cuff active here. Feeling stability in the shoulder blade as we move our arms. So got about 12 seconds to go. Good, so let's go ahead and switch to your other side. We're going to do the same thing. So hand on our tummy, feel a little bit of work there. Keep that belly button tucked in. That's a good cue to help you feel like our belly button's working hard. All of our brain power is in the shoulder blade. Just enough to move this up to shoulder level, out to your side, and right back down to your waist. Last one on this arm, so if we're starting to fatigue at the shoulder, it's okay, do your best. We got 20 seconds to go. Focus, focus, focus really hard on that shoulder blade. What's it doing? Is it staying where it needs to do? Is it doing what it needs to do, staying where it needs to stay, right? Keep that pinched down and back really tight. We got less than 10 to go. Starting to fatigue at the shoulder a little bit. It's okay, we're working hard. Do your best. 3, 2, let's get up and around one more time. Good, and drop. Switch positions one more time. Hand on our tummy, feel that core working hard. Shoulder blade is set. We're thinking really hard about that shoulder blade. Good. $15 seconds to go. Keep thinking about that shoulder blade squeezed really tightly. Do your best. Good job. We've loosened up the shoulders. We felt like we got that shoulder blade set into the position where it needs to be, right? So we're going to finish up our last one here. We've got a little bit for our lower body squat walks with a band. If you have a small loop band, we're going to go ahead and use that today. If you don't have one at all, that's okay. we're just going to use your body weight. That's all you need. We're going to put this right around our feet at the ankles. And we're going to go through our last timer here. And this is a combo of a lateral squat step. So we're just going to be stepping side to side. And we'll do just a body weight pulse squat as well. We're going to use our same timer. We've got 3 of each, 6 total. So we're going to try and keep the tension really high on the quads and our hips here as we go for this last block here. So we got 3 pairs of each. We're finishing up. Band around the ankles if you've got it. You don't need one. This will just be a little extra resistance if you have it. We're still going to stay in that squatted position. Lateral steps will still work the hips. 3, 2, 1, and go. We are starting with the pulse squat first. So just 1 pulse, 2 if you'd like. We're going to go down, pulse, pulse. Like I said, you can do 2. I'm doing 1 here. We're just going to go squat and pulse. Really driving the knees out. 10 seconds to go. Last one. Good. So next one here, we're just going to take a squatted position, and we are just lateral shuffle. 1 or 2 steps to each side is fine. Use the space that you've got. If you don't have much room at all, just take 1 step. If you've got a little bit of room to go ahead and take a few steps. But we're in our squatted position. We're going to step, like I said, 2 times or so, 2 or 3 times. Maybe to use the length of your mat, that might be great if you've got the room to use it. Otherwise, 1 or 2 steps is fine. We're just trying to keep that squatted position. Working the hips a lot here, especially if we've got a band. If we don't have a band, we're still squatting, we're still working the hips, so don't worry. 15 seconds to go. Almost there. Last few shuffles here. Good. Back to our body weight squat. We're keeping the band right where we've got it if we have the band on. Pulses. Remember to add 1 or 2 pulses at the bottom of the squat. If you just want to do just a squat, that's fine. Slow and steady here. There's our timer. Good. Slow and steady body weight squat. Add the pulse at the bottom. 1, 2, maybe 3. If you really want to challenge, you can try and pulse through the whole timer. Maybe save that one for our 3rd and final round if you're feeling bold by the time we get there here in a minute or 2. 20 seconds to go. We're adding an extra pulse in here. Last 15 seconds, we're gonna go squat, pulse, pulse. Keep doing what you're doing. Mix it up any way you like. Less than 10 to go. We're gonna get 1 more squat and pulse in here. Good, back to our shuffles. Halfway done with our leg portion. We gotta shuffle again. We have 1 final round. Squat and shuffle coming your way. 3, 2, 1. We've got squatted shuffle, so make sure you're down in that squatted position. 1, 2, 3 shuffles to each side, however much room you've got to work with. Keeping knees bent, tension is tight on the band. Doing your best. "20 seconds to go." We are feeling the burn in these quads. We're almost there. Last time all the way down. Do your best. Get there. 3 seconds. 2, 1. And there's our break. Good. We got 1 more of each. We got 90 seconds left on the clock. 1 more squat pulse. Feel free to pulse the whole time if you're feeling brave, like you've got that left in the tank in your quads. Let's go. Last one here. We are squatting, pulse at the bottom. driving out against that band if we have it. If not, we're just working with our body weight, no problem. Working on just a deeper squat maybe with the pulse, spending a little more time down in that bottom position. "20 seconds to go. Keep pulsing, finishing strong. 10 seconds to go. If we're pulsing at the bottom, we can stay there. Let's finish out with pulses at the bottom here. We got 45 seconds left after this. One more block. Good, up on our feet. Hey, we got one more block of our lateral shuffles, finishing out, burning out these quads and hips. 45 seconds left on the clock, and then we are all done. Starts in 2, 1, and here we go. Last 45 seconds on the clock, shuffling with our band, or if we're in our body weight with no band, we're just keeping that nice deep squat position, shuffling to the side, working these hips. 25 seconds to go. It's our final 10 seconds. Hold that squat. Our legs are burning. Two seconds. One more step. Great job. That is all we have. We're going to take a quick 30 seconds just to stretch out these hips. We just did lots of squatting and stuff here on our lower body. So quick 30-second hold on each leg. Just pulling that leg up to your chest. Stretch the quads and hips a little bit from that last little block here. Big time pull. Slow breaths in and out here. We got about 10 seconds to go before we switch legs. We're squeezing the legs here. Let's go ahead and switch legs. Full extension on the other leg. Nice 30-second squeeze on this leg just to relax from all the pulsing and squatting. We've just finished up that nice burn on our lower body there. We've got about 15 seconds to go. If we're feeling tight anywhere else, feel free to stay down on our mat and get a little extra stretch if you need it. We're just finishing up on the hips and legs here, so 5 seconds to go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Take a nice deep breath. Stay in that corpse pose position on your mat for another second or two if you need to. Stretch out, recover, catch your breath. That is all we got for you today. This was mobility and more. We did lots of focus on our hips towards the end. We did our chest, tall plank, and core. We got a lot done today, so thanks for joining me today, guys. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you liked about today's class. We hope to see you back here in the fitness center soon. Until then, I'm Scott with Aspiria Fitness Center, and we'll see you next time.